Peace and blessings, everyone. I am back here once again. I want to come on here and talk about the different elements, but I'm definitely going to start with the cardinal sign. That's what this video is going to be about. Even though I'm just going to explain different elements starting off. Like let's say for example, you got the cardinal signs, right? The cardinal signs are the ones who tend to initiate things. They're the ones who tend to initiate things. They tend to they are the ones they tend to get things started, initiate things, get things started, set things to motion. Wow, you got the fixed signs. The fixed signs are the ones who accumulate, they build. They accumulate, they build. And the mutable sign, then you have the mutable signs. The mutable signs are the ones who release. They're the ones they teach us about releasing and adapting. Is what it is. The fixed signs just teach us about accumulating and adopting things. Especially terms like conditioning or karma or accumulate or not. I mean not accumulate, but holding on to that karma. Wherever it is, like holding on to that karma, like what, in other words, in terms of like it represents like like whatever we're in terms of our wounding, like it, or in terms of how can I put this, like you holding on to these particular patterns and things of that nature. I would just put it like that, because you have to go through whatever cycle you have to go through. You have to go through whatever cycle go through in relation to whatever that is. So therefore, you could come out of it wisely. You'll know well. You come out of it wisely. I'm just using that for example. And then it's like, of course, just like you with the mutable signs, you start to make over again. You're creating, you're adapting, you're releasing, you're creating. Of course, once again, you know, it more so like, and also it teaches us also about duality. You know, it teaches us about duality as well. Especially within different, the cardinal signs even represents the different areas of our lives, like how we're adapting, in terms of the different areas, the different ways of our lives, especially with the environment, because the fixed sign energy also represents the environment. It can represent the environment in a way, in a sense, as well, like the setting, environmental setting. Um, but um, and they got also the fixed signs also, because the fixed signs are Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, and Taurus. And see, here's the thing, because the fixed signs are willful signs. They teach us about the fixed signs are willful signs, and the thing is that here's the thing, especially when it comes down to Taurus and Scorpio. Because the thing is, they can build you up, but they can tear you down. Especially a Scorpio, they can build you up, but they can tear you down. Um, it's more so like you have to be strong enough. You have to be strong enough to deal with them. You have to maintain your own integrity. You have to maintain your own power and not give it away. Because the thing is, if you do, then your life may be consumed in some type of way, or you giving them the power, you giving them the lead way to tear you down, especially if you don't work within the framework of the situation. But that's what the fixed sign represents, working in the framework of a situation. Um, so with that, so with the as stated with the cardinal signs, I'm gonna go and talk about the cardinal signs. I'll talk about the other type of signs in the next video, because the mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. But the cardinal signs are Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer. See, they have a polarities there. And see, um, Aries represents dominance. Libra represents submissiveness. Um, Capricorn represents the patriarchy, and Cancer represents the matriarchy. Um, when you look at it overall, I'm going to make this video brief. When it come down to, I always told people this, when it come down to the cardinal signs, like if you have an ascendant cardinal sign or a sign, but definitely if you have ascendant cardinal sign, or if you have a south node or a north node in the cardinal sign, because you're going through an identity crisis, and what happened is that you're having to, you somewhere somehow you learn yourself. Well, basically you learn about yourself through other people. See, but it depends on where it's located, because let's say for example, if your ascendant is in Libra in the seventh house, and not in the seventh house, but your ascendant is in Libra, or let's say if you have some placements in the seventh house, let me put it like that, and then you have some placements in the first. What happens is that with those experiences that you're encountering, you learn about yourself through other people. Meaning that you learn about yourself through other people. The first house represents yourself, but this your identity, yourself. It represents your own identity. But the seventh house represents other people, the connections, other people, dealings with other people. That's what the seventh house represents. And see, you learn about yourself. That's why they call it the seventh house, the house of open enemies. Because there are people there, it's like they seem like they're your enemy, but really they're a reflection of who you are. Like it may cause you to hate them or whatever, but really they're a reflection of who you are. Or it may cause you to constantly cut them off, but really they're a reflection of who you are. It's a lesson that be gained from that situation or from that person. It's what it is, or those people that are involved. They're like your teachers, basically. What happened is that with the cardinal signs, what they're meant to do, especially started early in life and so forth on, especially till they get to their first Saturn return, they're meant to experience, because with the Saturn return help us mature. It help us mature, and the Saturn return is basically between like age 28, like when you turn like between age 28 and 30. That's what a Saturn return is. It's pretty much like it pretty much helps you with maturity. You walking on your own more. You taking more accountability and responsibility for your own decisions and your life and your own decisions, and accepting the consequences of it. Saturn also teaches us about, taking responsibility and accountability. If we can make our own decisions. It teaches you about walking alone. You know, um, but when it comes down to the cardinal signs, they continue to go through a self-identity crisis, and the only way how they can find out by about their identity is through other people and experimenting different things. They experiment different things, like they experiment different things in different ways. Like for example, you met like some of them may become a sex worker, or whatever case is. They're not really here at an early age. Okay, at an early age, they're not meant to commit to one purpose. They're meant to go through different experience variety of different things, which would teach them about themselves. It would teach them something about themselves, which they meant to experience like a variety of different things, to do variety of different things, to learn it, because it's for to help teach them about who they are as a person. Not only what they gain from the experience, because I do feel with every experience we go in, whether if it's positive or negative, despite of the result, it's about what have we gained from it. Which is Capricorn energy. Like, what have we gained from it? what where that other person was teaching us about ourselves, what did we learn about ourselves from that situation, besides what that person was teaching us. What did we learn about ourselves in that situation as pertaining to who we are and what we had to work on or what we have to change about ourselves, and how we can improve ourselves, you know. So people at an early age, when they come down to those cardinal signs, could see it's like the babies of the zodiac, the babies of each element. You know, just like with Cancer, it's a cardinal fire. I mean, cardinal water sign. Cancer represents soul power. So with that being said, it represents overcoming. Cancer represents, like, okay, the only way how you can overcome this obstacle or overcome like a certain fear is by you having to overcome it. You have to try something different. Like, for example, if somebody afraid to go into a deep pool of water, right? What happened is that if they're afraid to swim down the deepest part of that swimming pool, so what happens is that they get out and they turn around and go to a diving board. They may fear for a certain amount of time, but eventually they attempt to try it, and they're gonna end. They're determined to do. They're determined to overcome that fear by trying it a different way. So what they'll probably do, they'll go to this diving board, and next thing you know, all of a sudden, not only they'll probably kick their feet in the water, maybe, but eventually they're gonna dive in. Once they dive in, and they're going to float. Once they dive in, they're going to float right back up. And once that happens, they're gonna be swimming. And next thing you know, they're gonna be doing it over and over again. Because they might do it countless of times. They're gonna find joy in it afterwards because it's something that they overcame. That's what Cancer is when it comes down to soul power. Um, that's what that is. Because Capricorn, on the other hand, Capricorn represents improvement. It represents, because Saturn is like the taskmaster, but Capricorn represents improvement. Overcoming something, um, hitting milestones, and receiving those gifts and after you hit those milestones, you receive those gifts that's going to be with you. But see, they're eternal gifts. What is that? Not only at a spiritual level, but even at a material level, physical level. Because you overcame that. You worked hard, you overcame that. You tried different things and you overcame that. You pretty much had trust in yourself to overcome that. And you was determined. Is what that is. Just like with Libra, Aries and Libra. Just like with Aries and Libra. Because see, when it comes down to Libra is about providing that balance. It's about, because see, it's the opposite sign of Aries, Mars and Venus. That even teaches us about duality. It will even teach us about providing that balance. It even teaches us about being both dominant and submissive. Pursuing and being a pursuer and being a pursuee. Not afraid of initiating, not afraid to being initiated, or not afraid of being pursued. Standing in our own power, not letting anyone take our power from us, and not relying off the other person's power as well. Which is why, when it comes down to how you project, like, for example, if you want someone, like if someone look for a certain type of person in a relationship, they may be passive, but they got a lesson to learn that that's really not who they are as a passive person. Really, they be dominant. But what they have to learn, but they, at the same time, they may say they want a person in a romantic relationship who are dominant and like who are dominant, who is assertive, who is assertive, but at the same time, that's within them, but that's something that they have overcame. Really, if you look at it, even that's something that especially if that's part of who they are to become. We really look at it when they're projecting something out like that. Really, that's something that is within them. I'm just saying, for example, it's not with everybody, but with some people, that is what something that is with it. That is something that is within them that they have to overcome and they have to embrace. That's already within them. They have to own, and they have to acknowledge and own and embrace. That's within their subconscious, and integrating with it. That's the Aries and Libra axis, the cardinal axis. Just like what Capricorn teaches us to provide for ourselves, manage things, provide for ourselves, but also nurture ourselves, pamper ourselves. We are responsible for it. Let's say, for example, our own, how we balance our own life. We are responsible for our own, you know, happiness. We are responsible for how we define our own freedom. We are responsible of that, for our own freedom, which is pretty much based off of, because freedom has its foundation as well, which is based off of how we defined it, based off not only our true authentic self, and as we get to know our true authentic self, but is based off of our own. Because see, that was Sagittarius come in at the number 9 energy, because it's pretty adaptable, but as I stated, is unchangeable. But it also depends on our own morals and standards and the boundaries that we set, and the consequences not only that we set, but also accepting the consequences of with others when we take a stance, for example, against, if we feel something that we're not in agreement with, or it could be agree to disagree. But the cardinal signs, like I said, deals with the self-identity crisis, and the only way how, or a or identity crisis of some sort, something dealing with your identity. But at the same time, as I stated, you have to find out about it through other people, dealing with other people. That's why you may get bullied. That's why you may encounter having stuff being stolen from you, you being taken advantage of if you have this. Um, Maybe facing some type of abusive situation, and their reason being is because their reason being is because it's for it to help you. Um, is basically for to help you with your identity. Those people or those situations are to help you find your own identity. That's why it's important. That's why it will be very complicated for you to stick to one purpose try to stick with and commit to one purpose at an early age, because you are meant at an early age until you get off with, especially until you get into your 30s. You are meant from that early age on up. You are meant to experience and explore different things and work with different types of people, and go through different types of experiences, because for to help you define who you are. It's for to help you define who you are and help you find your own identity and get in touch with your own identity. It's for to help you find your own identity, find it, form it, or being molded into it. Is what it is. But I'm gonna stop right here. This video is kind of long. Um, this video is kind of long. That's why I got the seventh house. The seventh house represents partnerships, relationships. You know, sharing things with other people. That's what the seventh house represents. Contracts, Because the state you're dealing with other people. It's seventh house represents dealings with other people. And you benefited from it. And they help you along the way. You know. But that's why I want to come on here. That's why I want to come on here and talk about. And Capricorn also teaches us about our mental perception. 'Cause that's a cardinal earth sign. It also teaches us about our mental perception and being in alignment with that, whatever the outcome, whatever the result is, and those who were a part of that result, knowing that there's no blame to go around the table, and those who are part of that result, those who were a part of the result is what it is. Like I said, it's not only your mental perception based off the result, but also your emotional perception or your emotions in alignment with that mental perception based off of that result and based off of the reasoning, who all was who all was or a part of that outcome for the outcome to be what it were, and the decisions that was made and the consequences with it that it brought with it, you know, and why it had to happen. What were really the true reason about it ending? Like why, what were the true reason about it that was ending? And not overlooking how you feeling subconsciously versus how you portray and projecting to be consciously. Um, is what Capricorn is. Because Capricorn be about initiating what you learn through experiences, through Aries and Libra, through the other people, and how it empowered you. Then it's about initiating it. You're wise, it's about initiating it. Also, you have something to rely back on in terms of resources. Aries represents resources. Capricorn too. It's also you have something to rely back on that brought you that wisdom. They help empowered you and brought you that wisdom. You initiating what you learn, and how you evolve at a spiritual level through those experiences. Libra, you as Aries, yourself, you know, or how you was perceiving, or how you perceived in the world versus what you was projecting out, and how you had to integrate with those things, and how you had to learn to balance that conscious to subconscious, how you had to integrate those things, and how you had to transmute it, learn duality. And Capricorn would be about being equipped for those, being equipped for whatever situations that come ahead, and you being ready for new experiences. Also through Cancer, which is you trying things at a different way to overcome whatever that were. Because Capricorn represents the mountain goat, the sea goat, and the mountain goat. That's the difference with those. I will talk about it another day. It's not easy, weren't easy getting there, but once you get there, or once you achieve whatever that is there with you for eternity. There with you for eternity. It's like you climbing the mountain and you finally make it there, make it at the top, and you up there for eternity. So wherever you earn, it's like it's worth it. It's with you for eternity. That's yours because you work hard for it. In terms of whatever the situation is supposed to teach you, doing the spiritual work on yourself, which weren't easy, or whatever the case is. Confronting whatever you were being hit where it hurt it, or wherever it is. And the reward that's on the other side after that, that's yours for eternity. That's yours for eternity. You earned that. Because Capricorn represents things that are eternal. Jupiter represents things that are overnight and they can be taken away. Capricorn represents things that are eternal. Because you worked hard for it through your own hard work, energy, and effort after taking a long road through your own hard work, energy, and effort. Is what it is. I will get deep more into it. I will talk about it at a collective level one day, what it represents. But that's what I want to come on here talk about. Next up will be I will be doing the fixed sign. I will be doing the fixed elements, and then I will be doing the mutable elements. But until next time, peace and blessings, everyone.